showtime. Dynamite Download. Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling should feel like.
I told you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
Super kick, hot tag!
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
That punk, that long-haired hippie freak.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
That you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw horse.
Raw horse?
Oh my god!
Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
versus Frankie's match.
Awesome.
This podcast is quite frankly the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
The day spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download. That is a great intro. Thank you, Bobby. Great job in mind editing that and ripping that guitar solo on his guitar at home. That is a Mind Runner guitar riff for sure. Could be air guitar, could not be air guitar. I don't know, but either way, he's just shredding that guitar. But right off the bat, I just got to say, thanks for the delay a little bit. I had to come straight from work. But last night's show felt like a free pay-per-view.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
Gosh, they just TK was just probably in his lair, his wrestling lair, and cook more for the sickos, more, boom, boom, boom. It was just like one after another match announced, 3 titles officially on the line, 1 title eliminator match. So that's what I like. I like feature titles. So often we have an AEW where some of the titles go hidden, or they're a singles title is stuck in a tag match, trios match for a long time and so forth. But it should have been called Title Wednesday because it was a banger of a show last night.
Just don't call it battle. Just don't call it Battle of the Belts, because then no title will change hands guaranteed. If it's Battle,
could have been Battle of the Belts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because of the results. I agree. I felt like this was another one of those Dynamites. It felt like a free pay-per-view. The matches were insane. Another one of those times where this is becoming a common thing where I'm struggling to pick my top performer, and each match I think each match progressively got better. There's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of multiple layered web of storylines. There's no definitive okay, here's this storyline, here's this story. They're all kind of weaving together, especially around the world title picture, and I love that. I think that's fantastic. And if last night's Dynamite is any indication of how 2026 is going to be for AEW, strap in. It's going to be an awesome year. I think I get this feeling that Tony Khan has made the decision, whether consciously or not, that he's no longer thinking about WWE, and he's just focused on how are we going to make AEW better. Because it's kind of there's none of that animosity, and we lost Hobbs, but Hobbs is going to be fine. But the energy I feel like the energy is being put into making AEW a great product. I still feel like they're bringing some of that old nostalgia back, but also injecting so much new. We're going to talk about the new signings that they've had up to last night. We'll talk about that too. And I'm having a blast. And if this is an indication of what AEW is going to be like in 2026, we're going to have an awesome year.
I like what you said. It's just focus on what's in front of you. So often you see on social and all that, people taking shots at each other, and AEW is better than WWE and vice versa because of this match and whatever. Let's just enjoy wrestling. You know, ALW, our buddy Aaron does a great job of uplifting all products and all wrestling, and I think that's what matters. And like, yes,
even at 3 in the morning.
There's at all hours of the night, he's letting us know, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but he's a great guy.
Full Tilt Deb's. If you don't know what we're talking about, that's the Full Tilt Deb's chagrin. But we'll that's a story for another time. We love you, Aaron. We love you.
But there's no like backstage. Obviously, I guess if there's a benchmark or a notch to be like, oh, we're the best, you know, I don't feel like they're that competition out there. Like, where do you rank it? Do you rank it at money earned, views, you know, draw, attendance? Like, there's so many different levels of that. But AEW consistently is where the best wrestle, and we saw that last night on last night's card. Clearly, like you said, the show, as soon as we hit that, no knock on any other match, whatever, but as soon as we hit that Briscoe match, I was like, wow, the bar is set that high. And it did progressively get bigger and better and better, which is very hard to do after that incredible match with Clone and Briscoe. But you know, focus on the product in front of you, because AEW has such great talent, such great stuff, such great storylines going on, and you nailed it. As the shift into 2026, they're cooking, and there's a lot of freshness to it and a lot of excitement around the product.
Yeah, and again,
even though Moxie's face doesn't say excitement, it is excitement.
I love that. Moxie's great expressions. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to see Renee Paquette interview their daughter, you got to check it out. It's on social media. She does that close up. She's been doing with all wrestlers. She's interviewing their Nora, and Nora, although she's got the blonde hair and she's got the looks like kind of, you can see the Renee in her when she's and has that like kind of grin, and some of those facial expressions are total Moxley expressions. She makes these kind of faces. What we're going to talk about again, of course, another thing about AEW that I'm loving now, and this has been a trend for a while, is even when you're pretty sure you know the outcome, like Mox versus Ace Austin for the Breakfast title, we pretty much knew Ace isn't walking out of it. The losing wrestler does not lose. Like, as far as they don't drop in stature, there's no jobbing in these matches. Everybody looked great. Ace is, even though Moxley got the 1, 2, 3, I felt like he did a lot to help Ace Austin shine. Rocky Romero is another one of those workhorse guys. You know, he does a lot more behind the scenes as well. Rocky knows his job. Rocky allowed Kenny to once again show that Kenny is back. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Mm-hmm. So everything that happened last night, and it was somebody. God, it was a quote today, and I forgot it. I forgot who said it, but it was it's MVP said this in one of his podcasts, that you can be, no matter how good you are in the ring with your own moves, a true professional, a true symbol of excellence as a professional wrestling is being able to always make your opponent look good. It's always fun.
The art of selling.
Yes. And not just the selling as in receiving, but to find those ways and to help do that dance, with your partner. And I think we're seeing that. And Darby said it, and a few others they said, and I'm not going to name names, that they've gotten rid of a lot of the toxicity in the locker room. But I feel like the locker room, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the locker room, and there's like everyone's going in the right direction. Everybody's rowing at the same time right now with AEW. There's a consistency in making everyone look good. Heels, baby faces, everything. I'm loving it, and I think it's translating to the product.
Well said. And early on in Dynamite Download history, the consistent theme when we would talk to some of the wrestlers is how positive the locker room is and was. And yes, I'm sure there's an ebb and flow as the company grows, new faces come in and out, and
growing pains.
For sure. And it does, from the outside looking in, it does seem to reflect that in the locker room. And I think that really was prominent in the Continental Classic tournament with what Moxley had to say at the end of it, and what we got out of that tournament, and the respect of the wrestlers that were involved in it, all 12 of them. So well said on that one. Kicking off the show was the Heroes Welcome, Kenny Omega. And you talked about Rocky Romero and going toe to toe. Like this is the way to kick off a Dynamite. I mean, no knock on Rocky getting, no entrance essentially, but with a card this stacked, I was like, how are they going to fit this in 2 hours? And that's good. Shave off a couple minutes. Every little minute counts in the big picture for that. But man, Kenny Omega is in his peak performance shape. He's picking his spots appropriately, and he's got his eyes set on, the big prize for sure. And I love that he's being featured more and more as of late. And, AEW is at its best when the elite are leading the charge. And we're going to have the Young Bucks return. They talked about, the tassels are back, the super kick parties are back, and so forth. BTE has been back. So it just feels right. It feels right for it. This was a great.
There's a great GIF on Twitter right now too, where it's like right when he gets V triggered, it pauses and goes, "We'll be right back." Like one of those things.
And you talked about, you just said it about MVP's quote. Selling, and you got a cocky Rocky Romero to the TV and then taking that V trigger and selling it like he just got knocked into next week.
Have you seen that video? It was viral. It's been around for a long time, but I think it's a Spanish guy he's at like a rodeo or something or horse race, and he's standing there, and all of a sudden you can see the guy and the horse coming up and then just knocks him, and the last thing you see is the guy going like that, and then the camera goes dark. This totally reminded me of that spot where Rocky was all like talking and smiling. I was like, nah. He's just going. That was tremendous. Yeah, hats off to Kenny though, man. I believe him. I think he's truly feeling the best he's felt in a long time. He's gotten a lot of stuff fixed. It's kind of like when the check engine light's been on your car for a while, and you finally break down. So you know what? I'm going to go in and take it in. I'm going to spend the money, and it takes a while, and you finally get everything fixed on your car, and now it's running great. I think that's Kenny right now. I'm seeing 2019, 2020 Kenny a little. The age is there. You can't deny it. But I think we're seeing it. We've got this is the best Kenny's been in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, making quick work of Rocky Romero and, coming out here, and Tony Schiavone, I love how he's like high visibility, you can't miss him for sure. But Kenny's spitting, calling his shot and everything. But then, of course, he gets interrupted.
Yeah, and this was such a great segment when he got.
Wait, everything okay there?
I'm sorry, hold on. I got interrupted a little bit.
Wait, did something fall out of your mouth?
Yeah, hold on. Okay, yeah, we want to talk about this. They're going to talk about.
Oh my gosh! If you don't know, go back to this segment, because Don Callis' teeth fell out of his damn mouth in the middle of this promo. I thought he was chewing gum or something, but just like Mindrunner, thank God his teeth didn't fall out. But Don Callis, absolute true professional. The show must go on. His teeth, his veneers or whatever he's got in. Maybe he's got like fake teeth like hockey players do. But they went out and he had marble mouth, and he finished that promo. By gosh, man, he was incredible. And then he not only did that, he was featured like 5 more times. So I kept, maybe the camera didn't show him as much because whatever happened. I don't know if they literally like fell out of the socket or they came out of whatever it is, but it was absolutely hilarious. I bet you he got ribbed so bad in the back, and everyone's laughing their asses off. Like, this has got to be a first. Literally a first, someone's teeth cutting out because he's so passionate and yelling about the promo. But gosh, at first, did you know what happened at first?
Well, I thought it was gum, but Dev goes, no, I think his teeth fell out. So we wound it back, and we're like, yeah, his teeth fell out. And I mean, we kept going back and like almost like instant replay. And what's interesting is how few people caught that. Like, there's hardly anybody. This would have been something for someone like a heel like Callis that you would have thought they wouldn't have let that go.
Right.
Like I'm expecting like people showing up with those little teeth dentures or teeth chatters or those things. nothing's being said about it. So, again, kudos to Gallus. We're just rolling through it. But this should be talked about more, I think.
I miss the Don Callis front row impersonators.
Yeah.
If you're going to a show sitting front row, please, dress up as Callis and then, put chalk or whatever they do to make it look like you're missing teeth, or like have fake teeth in your mouth and let them fall out when he comes around by you or something like that. That would be hilarious. Please. I miss those. Those guys are so funny. But yeah, true professional, actually really incredible stuff from Callis getting through that promo. And then Kenny kind of helped saving the day, but I'm sure they would have laughed their arses off if they actually knew what was really happening, because they panned the guys and they're kind of like, I bet you they're a little bit confused. But, after this backstage, we got a face-to-face with Fletcher, which really kind of hinting at some babyfaceness over the last few weeks, but who knows? And then we saw once again the face-to-face with Takeshita. Like, did you expect this? After the handshake and the walk away, I almost expected Okada to go, bitch.
I was waiting for it too. Yep, I was waiting for the bitch, but he didn't do it. So that's.
I know.
I'm confused.
Me too.
I don't know. Somebody's gonna turn, but now I'm not sure who it's. I've always thought the turn's going to be Takeshita,
right?
But now I'm not 100% sure it's going to be Takeshita. If any, but then again, it could be Takeshita. The story could be less about who's turning heel or face and more who's going to turn on the Don Callis family. Now, if you notice when Callis was talking, both Fletcher and Takeshita were kind of rolling their eyes behind him. But then when they were left alone, it was just Takeshita and Fletcher, and Takeshita goes, you accept Okada apology, and Fletcher kind of seemed a little sheepish. So I don't know the dynamic. I'm intrigued. I don't know which way this is going. I just hope that I would love for at least Takeshita to go babyface. I think Fletcher, Takeshita turning against the Callis family would be intriguing. Who knows? They
as we're talking this, I really, as much as I didn't really consider Fletcher turning babyface, I feel like I could see it happening because he's so good in the ring and such a good presentation that he delivers. I could see it happening for sure. And, we're always thinking Takeshita, absolutely. But now I feel like maybe Doyle getting hurt throws maybe a little wrench into it. I feel like we're getting closer to Cage coming back. We're getting closer to maybe Wardlow coming back, more healthy members of the family. But I could see Okada turning on both these guys. And I could see the family turning on both these guys. He was calling the shot. If Takeshita doesn't win against Moxley and Fletcher, if he does get another TNT shot down the line, if he doesn't win, they're like, we're done with you. You guys can't do anything. You can't live up to the family, whatever. And they beat him down. And then these two Proteshita team up against the family, because obviously one guy against the family is compelling to kind of overcome a David versus Goliath, a whole army, but two guys teaming up together would be pretty cool. So I could I could see that.
Just think the moment either one of these guys,
I know,
the moment they turn face in the middle of the ring, the pop is going to be tremendous.
Oh, 100%.
Like what'll happen is Okada might yell at one, let's say Okada takes a swing at Takeshita and Fletcher grabs his arm and stops him and goes, no. Yeah. And then they get a face off and you win we're already on the edge waiting to pop for the Okada versus Takeshita feud.
Right.
And now we're also thinking, is Fletcher going to turn? They're teasing a little bit of this. And I don't see it. It's not a clear, he's just pretending to be babyface. He genuinely seemed ashamed in front of Takeshita that he accepted Okada's apology. So I do think that there's a story here, and I don't know.
Right.
I'm just waiting to see what happens. The only thing I think won't work is I don't think Okada going babyface. because and that was weird too, because like I was waiting for the bitch, but he didn't say it, but maybe he was thinking it. So I don't know. I don't see a pathway for Okada going babyface, but
I don't either.
I definitely see these two, Proto Shida going against and maybe the original plan was Proto Shida turning babyface and then taking on Davis and Doyle and working their way through the Callis family. Who knows? True. But yeah, we'll have to be strapped. Like I said, 2026 is going to be an awesome year for AEW, and I'm strapping in for it.
You could have the return of Cage, and you have the Monster Machine, whatever, I forget what their name was. Go against them and take the Murder Machines. But you know who went and is leaning more towards babyface is John Moxley himself. Yeah. And you talked about earlier about the Ace Austin. Like, I think that whole tournament was about putting people over and getting back to the roots and really showcasing the wrestling in the ring. Yeah. And so Moxley, I think, really nailed it on the head. You know, he put Claudio over, he put Takeshita over, he won it and then killed that killer promo at World's End. Yeah. But this is another one. Ace Austin, this is almost like a wrestling exhibition he's going to put on with this Continental Classic, like the rematch between Takeshita and Moxley. Wow. It's going to be a marquee moment. And that's, piggybacking on what we were just talking about with the Callis family. Like, if Takeshita doesn't win, we could start to see maybe some animosity or some stuff from Okada going, ha, 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 you can't get it done. And then they continue to feud, because that was getting so hot, that feud, Okada and Takeshita, like the teases, and then kind of just fizzled out a little bit. And we need to reignite that. But Moxley versus Ace, I almost thought this was going to go for the time limit draw.
Yeah, they've done a good job mentioning the time on all of these matches, because to get us to because in the past they would only mention it when it was going to go to a draw, they'd only bring it up, and now they're bringing it up all the time, so it's in the back of our minds. But I do went back with the Shelton match where it was like seconds away from the time limit draw and he lost. So I think that makes it more compelling, and I think the consistency's there too. But damn, did Ace Austin look good? And you got to thank his dance partner for half of that. That was that Moxley allowed Ace Austin to do his thing. Moxley is a man of very limited moves himself, as far as he doesn't do a whole lot of spots, quote unquote, but he knows how to work with anybody and use his style with anybody, and he knows how to allow other people to shine, and he did that with Ace Austin. Ace had some great, incredible spots. The dude's got tree trunks for legs. This dude just a high flyer, and he's also I'd love to see him versus Bandito at some point, just a friendly match just to see. But fantastic. I thought this was great.
Loving the sideline reporter Renee Paquette, and it's even more hitting home because obviously those two are married. Then you got Jesus pointing at him. Jesus sitting in the front row.
Recognizing him. I still remember wrestling Jesus at it was one of the pay-per-view. It was I think it was one of the Anarchy in the Arena, and he's there and he's doing the like this thing. It's But I mean, Moxley's clearly the face turn, and everybody's recognizing it. But I like this dynamic also of they're not saying it, but it's out there. Renee and Moxley, and you can kind of see that a little bit with Roddy at Roddick Strong and
sure
here too. So it's a little tongue in cheek, a little wink, if you know. But yeah,
the match to me that set the bar for the night: the Briscoe versus El Clone. Man, what a high-paced, high-stakes, back-and-forth match this was. I mean, we were anticipating and excited for El Clone's debut in AEW. It took a little longer than we expected ever since that hologram injury. But, he's had some great matches as of late. In this one, two totally different styles clashing, totally different styles, but it worked so well. Like you have that crazy Mark Briscoe wild card, never know what's going to happen, violent, aggressive, can flip, go crazy, and then O'Clone doing everything in between, and very athletic. But wow, this was one of my favorite matches of the night. Easily one of my favorite matches of the night.
Each match last night was better than the last one, and it started a good, solid match of Kenny versus Rocky.
Yeah.
Then you got a great match of Mox versus Ace Austin. Then this happened. This El Clone, I plug your ears, Full Tilt Deb. I think El Clone might be better than Hologram. We'll have to see when Hologram comes back. It's an unfair thing for me to say, but El Clone was fantastic in this match. And one of the coolest spots, and I for Briscoe to let this happen, he took the J Driller and no-sold it. Well, I mean, yeah, and just kind of popped right up and just did this little thing with his neck. I mean, you can see the expression on Chicken. It's like, wow, the whole match, again, great from start to finish. Briscoe, of course, a fan favorite. But I thought this is another match, just like with the Ace Austin match. This was another match where the person that didn't get the win came out looking better than they did when the match started. Like, came out looking better than before.
Right.
And this was a way to showcase how El Clone is. And that's one of the interesting things about AEW is you can take the L and still walk away looking legit and not losing face. I thought it was fantastic. But this was moment of the night for me, was just that when he just popped right up and just went like that, and you could just see everybody in the stand. Crowd was like, whoa! So this was phenomenal. I love that. And yeah, again, hats off to Mark Briscoe. And it does seem like Mark Briscoe's done with the Callis family. He wants a new blood, new challenger.
Yeah. Before we talk about that debut, I got to say, like that match, I mean, every match last night, except for the Rocky and Kenny, you mentioned that. I think the man and woman who lost looked so good.
Yeah.
It almost elevated everybody. As you said earlier, everyone's rowing together. All the ships are rising together. This was no different with this match. El Clone versus Hologram, that kind of argument.
Yeah.
As you always say, recency bias. I kind of do like El Clone's aggressiveness a little bit more. Hologram's a little bit better high flyer, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how they clash. I'm going to see. I would love for them to do a lot of like mirrored moves.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Like, I can do this. No, I can do it better. And just like in a sense, miming each other in that. But
oh man, you think you think they'll have that feud maybe as early as Revolution if he comes back?
Who knows when he comes back? I mean, I feel like he wouldn't be doing his moves, like kind of teasing his moves if he wasn't getting close to back.
Yeah.
I think because last match he teased that one, Hologram's finisher, and then now Alcine mentioned Hologram in general. So we'll see with that one. Back to keeping the Don Callis family, which is featured so prevalently across the whole freaking show. Oh my gosh, except the women's match. Everyone was part of the Don Callis family, essentially. Davis and Doyle, who's picking up a lot of steam. I think they looked fantastic in this match. The chop battles with Dax and Davis were echoing, painful, and absolutely brutal. I don't know who had the chop of the night. It was either Dax or Davis, because
I don't know, but
gosh.
Look at Dax's chest looked gnarly, dude. Yeah, that's how you sell it.
Just incredible. Like, I mean, there's no point I really thought Davis and Doyle were going to win this match just because of how fresh the FTR title run has been. But man, these guys looked like such a fun team to root for, fun team to have in the tag division. Big burly brawlers, and it's just such a shame how this one had to end. But let's talk about the positives of this match before diving into that. Like, I did not expect Davis and Doyle to win that 4-way, first of all, and then for them to just be like quickly one of my, really a team that I'm excited to see in the ring. And it's almost like the curse of Mark Davis or the curse of the Callis family with some of their injuries, sadly. But, how did you like this match before finding out about everything, afterwards?
Oh, I thought it was tremendous. I thought I really like Davis and Doyle as a team. It enhances Davis, like, having this, Jake something guy. They come across as monsters. We talked about this last time where, Kyle Fletcher has excelled as singles, breaking away, where Davis has seemed kind of lost without a partner. But now this, like the two of them, they fit. They even their beards are similar. Their build is similar. I mean, although Doyle is kind of a little more cut, they worked fantastic. There were spots that they were just eating FTR alive in certain spots, and really just physically dominating them. And now, granted, again, this goes another one of those things we talked about tonight. Like all of these matches where there was the dance partners helping the others look good, and FTR allowed Davis and Doyle to come across as beasts, and they really were. They were like they were kind of like what Bear Country could have been,
there you go,
or the Iron Savages or whatever they were, or if you took that with Butcher and the Blade, or whatever, and not even Butcher and the Blade, just they were just like two just savage humans, just like a wrecking crew kind of thing, And I thought this was fantastic. Kudos again to FDR for allowing them to shine like this, and it was crazy. But and that's one of the reasons why I picked up Davis on the draft, is because I'm figuring these guys are, hopefully these guys are going to get a lot more opportunities to shine. We hope.
Oh, it's a tough one. I was doing a little recon of, and it has been confirmed since that he did suffer a torn bicep in this match, which is absolutely brutal. Just thinking about that makes my arms kind of cringe a little bit. And I was like, oh gosh. And it's like, it sucks because, here it is, number 11 there. I did not realize, I guess I wasn't watching the match that closely, but he, wasn't featured in the last few minutes of the match. But I get it. It was, they were setting up for an awesome feud with the Death Riders as well, because they came in earlier and they interfered with Moxley, or they came out and clocked Moxley, left him in the middle of the ring, Davis and Doyle. So maybe we'll see Davis and Moxley have a match to really start to ignite the feud of the Callis family. But man, it's a tough break for a newcomer. We had Wardlow come back, get hurt right away, the torn pec, and then we have Davis come back, have some great matches, get some good momentum, or Doyle come back and tear his bicep, which could be anywhere from 4 to 7 months. It's hard to think about, man. That is so wild. I'm looking at right now. So, Cage should be back anytime now. He's been out almost a year. So I know if you follow on Instagram and follow, alumni of Dynamite Download, but Cage, the Murder Machines could be back together. They can kind of slide into that beast mode, like you said, Wrecking Ball, segue on that for the Callis family, which would be great. So his last match where he did get injured was March 20th. So coming up on a year of rehab. I know he had a couple of setbacks and did some stuff, but we'll see on that one. But big story. This is something really excited to talk about. Where is this? What number is this one? A new debut in AEW. We love a good surprise, love a debut, and wow. We know if you're, it's hard to hide anything these days in social media and all like the random nonsense of, people contracts and stuff like that, which is like, it's almost as a fan, like you want to know that, but you don't want to know that, there's rumors of AJ Styles and things like that. You get excited. I almost wish they didn't we didn't know all this kind of stuff behind the scenes in no sense. But either way, this is one I did not see debuting last night.
Yeah.
Presentation, incredible. Looks incredible. Instant title feud for the TNT title. Love it, love it, love it. How you doing?
Yeah. We're getting you a little bit of Wi-Fi roboto from you there, SPD, but we'll move on from it. But
I'll try my best. It's too long of a rant.
It's actually me. It's actually we're doing a robot. I didn't expect him to show up. I didn't expect him to show up this soon. I do think though, like in WWE, where if they're released, they have 90 days. But I think sometimes when they're like, I guess when it just runs out, they can just show up at any time. But yeah, for those of you that do know that I think you probably like myself popping when Ciampa showed up. I didn't quite know who it was until I kind of had a feeling when I saw that I could see the outline, and then I thought about who from WWE has left recently. But yeah, the pop was great. I had to explain to Full Tilt Deb and I had to explain to my buddy Nacho Man Shane who Tommaso was. But this is definitely going to be an upgrade. He has a lot of history with Ring of Honor. He actually has a history with both of the Briscoes. If you look back to his pre-WWE time. So this is definitely, and I think this is a good home for Tommaso Ciampa. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of matches for this guy, and he's going to be worth watching. Now, he's not a flippy do guy, but compared to like the Rascals and a few other recent pickups, but he's definitely an upgrade. He's definitely going to help AEW 2026 be awesome. And I got to say, they're plunging him right in for a challenge for the TNT title. Now, we've said all night that you can lose and still look good. I mean, we've had a lot of people lose their debuts. As much as I love Chicken, as much as I love Mark Briscoe, I actually think the right move would be for him to win the TNT title, for Ciampa to win.
With the TNT title, though, it's one of those things.
Yep.
It's like it's one of the titles. How's my audio?
Much better, much better.
All right. With the TNT title, it's one of those that's like it's okay to play hot potato. I'm all for the TNT title being defended every single week and it changing hands more frequently. Like the bigger titles, hold it a little bit longer. I can totally understand, but this one I could see, strike while the iron's hot, and they haven't done that where you have a new face first match title win. That would be quite the shocker for sure. And either way, win-win. Briscoe wins, win. Psycho Killer wins, win as well. And I think it's going to be one of those matches that everybody wins. Not everybody dies, everybody wins. And you talked about earlier in the show, like, look at this. Like, look at what we've seen so far. Every company's going to have subtractions and additions, and this is quite the depth move by TK himself.
Yeah,
and these folks so far.
This is what we're not even. January's not even over,
right?
And now, the people that want to cry about, it's former WWE guys. There's two WWE guys. Of course, one of them's a former WWE, former AEW, former WWE guy on the upper left corner. But we'll talk about that dude tonight. But look at this talent, and if you've been an indie fan and you've been watching, you'll know these names. You and I got to see Bryson Oliver at GCW, Mascara Dorada, Hechicero. Of course, Hechicero's, I felt like his All Elite announcement was almost like a formality at that point, because he's probably spent more time in AEW in 2025 than he has in CMLL. But Mascara Dorada, fantastic. Zeta Steel has been I'm surprised WWE didn't grab her, because she's phenomenal. And Persephone, I discovered through this whole collaboration with CMLL and Thunder Rosa talking her up. for Persephone's such a great get, but strap in. You have not seen the Rascals wrestle yet.
Yes.
And I know there's 3 of them instead of the 4th one, and there's a whole thing with that, and we wish him well. We know Trey Miguel's going to do fine. But when you see these Rascals, you're gonna if you're a fan of Flippy Doo, yeah, this is gonna be some good.
This will be my first
stuff.
time seeing the Rascals on Saturday Collision. I have not. I don't know much about them. I
Well,
don't know what they are to give.
I'll just say
I'm
that
excited.
they like to get high in more ways than one. Ladder match high. So
ooh, all right. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Women's match of the night, second title match of the night, Statlander versus Tekla. Honestly, if there was going to be a title change, I thought this would be it. As much as I definitely did not want to see Statlander get rid of the title this soon. I think that Tekla is ready. I really do. And I as the resident babyface, I love a babyface champ, but I also love a babyface chase. I think I love a babyface more than a babyface champ. It's so fun to have the chase for that. But gosh, this was such a good match, and I can't believe like the back and forth, the pacing, everything about it. I absolutely loved it. This is one of my favorite women's matches, singles matches I've seen in I think the last few months, and it delivered. It could have been could and should have been the main event of any show, any like very pay-per-view worthy match. And I'm really surprised at I shouldn't be, but I'm really surprised how well this was and how the counters back and forth and everything in between. This was just like to have only one women's match on the night.
Yeah,
they delivered 100%, and they brought
it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. This again, another one of those things where you have that dance partner. Now, of course, I think you guys can tell who I was rooting for. You know, I mean, I think you can
oh, never.
Never at all. I mean, she's the best bout machine now. And as far as in the women's roster, she's the best. She's elevated. She's made everybody, she's kind of got the rub that there's the Statlander rub where if you have a match with her, suddenly you're a better wrestler. Yep. Like she's the turning point when Mercedes Moné started finding her in-ring groove. She's been phenomenal. She, everybody she's wrestled at this point. Yeah, I didn't think that Tekla was going to win, but it's another one of those things where even though the person that took the loss wasn't a loser, they actually looked fantastic. To Courtney's point here, Spider doesn't need the belt. I don't think she needs it now. I do think there's going to be a moment. I think Tekla is right now out of everybody. It's either Tekla or Megan Bayne, but probably Tekla is probably one of the only ones that's could take the belt from her this year from Statlander. So maybe this could be a preamble to a building up another feud as we get closer to Revolution. I can see something like that. But yeah, Tekla's fantastic. Another great pickup for AEW, and just continue to have her in the ring and doing stuff. And she cuts great promos. She's got a great persona. But Stat is her. Stat is kind of, she's the female locker room leader, and I think that's phenomenal. By the way, yeah, Aaron loves wrestling in here. ROH was a great show tonight. We don't have time to talk about it, but yes, it was. I caught some of the highlights too, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on Ring of Honor if you haven't had a chance to.
Real quick, even in the chat, like ALW, let me know if there's your favorite match of Ring of Honor so I can go back and watch it. I did not get a chance because I was working, but if there's one match you could pick for Ring of Honor for me to check out, what would it be? I love what you always say. You say this consistently, like Statlander is her. She is the face of the division for a reason. And everyone does look good when they face her, because that says a lot about everything she does. But this one, I don't know why this just impressed me so much, this match. And it's hard to say since Tekla wasn't the one to dethrone, like who's going to be, there's really not a lot of singles competitors that are there. I feel like, as we talked about last week, the next in line for the tag team titles is Mega Bad. And it could have been Mega Bad all along being the inaugural ones, but because of the injury, they kind of had to pivot, and the pivot works so well with the Babes of Wrath. So I feel like, we'll see the Sisters of Sin get that title shot because there was no interference, and then Mega Bad showing their, themselves on the ramp after the match. I think that's, as I said last week, we're looking at the next women's tag team champions, and I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. And so I don't see Megan Bayne being the next women's champion yet. I like the idea of them being the tag team champs. And then it looks like we're going to see coming up very soon a mixed gender match with Wheeler, Dirty Hair, whatever everything else Orange Cassidy had to say, Yuta and Shafir, and Timeless Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy, which I'm all here for. I love the combination of Orange, surprisingly, Orange Cassidy and Timeless Tony Storm.
And Citrus Boy.
Exactly. Like, I mean, that's the same thing. Like you talked about Statlander, everyone looking good, everything she's involved in. Same with Tony Storm. Like, look what she's done to Marina, and then also look what she's doing with Orange Cassidy. Not that he needed any kind of rub, but it's just making it so much more compelling with that. So I'm excited to see when this match happens, the mixed gender on it.
Talking about, to Courtney's point earlier about, like the Spider doesn't need a belt. Tony Storm she deserves all the belts.
Agree.
But she doesn't need a belt to be compelled. Like, just put her on my TV in anything. And this is just cinema. Though, like, and of course, Orange Cat, this whole thing starts out Orange Cassidy's mood. Then Wheeler Yuta comes up, and then then you've got Marina Shafir trying to start some shit, and back off, bitch! You're like chlamydia. You keep coming back, and just Tony Storm is phenomenal. I love this. I just keep this going, and like you said, this is what Tony Storm's doing is actually helping Marina Shafir because it's giving her spotlight. It's fleshing out Marina Shafir. It's kind of that whole thing of, like, the your opponent fleshes out who you are, right. Like helps bring out who you are. Like Batman is defined better by the Joker, like the contrast there. And so, like, Marina Shafir is defined better because when she's facing off, whether verbally or in the ring against Tony Storm. But really quickly, just about the women's division, I love Bobby's idea. Cassie and Jesse are no longer with TNA. A lot of people think they're going back to WWE, especially because they played the Iconics music in their last match. I don't know, though. I know that Sean Spears, Cassie's husband's over there, but Jesse and Cassie have a lot of friends in the AEW locker room, and what a better place to debut the Iconics or the Inspiration, whatever you want to call them, but in their home country of Australia at Grand Slam. I think that would be tremendous.
Perfect place, 100%. And that would also be, I mean, you touched on this last week a lot, and you were really, high praising this one. And I think with the division, the way it needs more quality established teams, such as the Iconics, I think that would be a perfect fit. And Mega Bad, like, maybe we could see Mega Bad. So here's the thing, like, I would love for them to debut. Maybe they debut in fight someone or save someone, just make a debut. But if they come to AEW, I want them to be champions. So, if Mega Bad are the next AEW Tag Team Women's Champions, I want them to have a nice, comfortable run. So if they do debut, then I want them to temporarily feud away from the title with some people. That way they're not going to lose right away or whatever it may be. But regardless, I welcome them with open arms, with arms wide open. It would be such a great signing for TK and AEW.
If I could just jump in one last little point about the women's division, I am so happy and glad that the tag team titles are not an afterthought. that they're getting the attention. The women's that it's adding to the women's division. One of my biggest fears, I think a lot of people shared this, was that here's your women's tag team titles. Okay, now we're just gonna go back to singles, and we're just not really gonna talk about them. No,
Right.
They're a prominent feature on AEW. They're getting the spotlight. You know, Babes of Wrath are getting screen time. Stats getting screen time. Willow's also defending the TBS title. And then we've got these matches like with Toni Storm and Marie Sphere. We've got these grudge matches. So the women's division, even if they only have one match on Dynamite, they're getting time to develop.
Yeah.
The stories are there, and they're even intertwining with some of the other stories. So yeah, we need more of it. But I feel like it's quality over quantity, and the quality is there, and it's been phenomenal. And if you bring in the Iconics, dude, you got to just hand them a mic, because the two of them are hilarious.
They're so captivating in and out of the ring, and that says a lot. Like, it'll add so much depth and personality to the division. And so, please, that would be a gold mine signing, in my opinion.
And if you don't sign the Iconics, you got to be joking me. So, all right. Anyways, all right. Up until this point, I was between Tekla, El Clone, maybe Mark Briscoe. Yeah, Mark Briscoe, El Clone, Tekla I was deciding which one of them is going to be my top performer. And then this match happened.
You know, Aaron in the chat, I have to go scroll through the chat, was saying this definitely could qualify for match of the year. And I said, remember this match come December, because it's hard. It's going to be hard to remember so many bangers after bangers after bangers. But this one, agree. Like, you know, this could be one of the best matches on Dynamite so far that we've had in AEW. Shocked at the ending. I really am. And I'm honestly like happy at the ending too, because as much as I do love Swerve and the push and everything in between, like, if you're going to build stars and build people like Andrade, since he's returned, like, they're pushing him, and I like that, and I really do. I'm happy for him. Yeah. So, whose house indeed?
Whose house? Again, you know how I feel about Swerve. Yeah, you know he's my top three, and he battles my other two favorites all the time. However, this was not only was this the right decision, Andrade has had so many false starts. Not just in AEW, but in, coming from NXT into the main roster at WWE, he's had so many of these false starts that it's so good to finally see him.
Yeah.
Again, it's that whole thing where he's found himself. This persona is great. He carries himself well, and he's always been a phenomenal athlete in the ring.
100%.
Everything was clicking. And this goes back to the theme that we've talked about, having a great dance partner that allows you to look good. Swerve was making him look good. It was back and forth, but there were so many moments. One of the best moments, it's like Andrade does this like foot stomp into a Judas effect kind of thing. He hit Swerve, and I don't know if it was a potato or if he Swerve just sold it, but I felt my jaw hurt after this, and it's such a out of nowhere move, and there were so many great moments in this one. Andrade looked phenomenal. Of course, Swerve was phenomenal. Swerve did a Swerve stomp, that his house call or Swerve house call in midair, like not when usually he does it when the person's kneeling on the ground, but he did it like in the air, like as if Kevin Knight did it. Like it was there were so many of these cool spots, and but everybody shined. Of course, Deb and I are freaking out when they're getting on the railing, and sure enough, Deb's like, "Oh, Swerve's gonna take the hit." And yep, he did. And he fell sideways, or he kind of felt like a skew to it, and Andrade, and then of course we got to give a shout out to
Andrade got the yam bag one.
Yeah, Yam Jones, baby.
Even Callis was saying, we have to. I might have to check on him because he did the back body drop on the apron, and then he got a yam bag slammed. Yam Bag Jones.
Yeah,
these guys brought their A+ game tonight, and they delivered a main event that we should be talking about for the ages, because I loved it. Iron sharpens iron at its complete finest on there. So really, really great stuff out of both these guys. Loved it. So good.
We got to also give a quick shout out. Andrade, last week Andrade got some digit. He put his phone number in a woman's. But this week, of course, we're in Texas.
Ladies, man.
And not only did he get a selfie, he also got a kiss from a top-tier kiss, a cameo from a top-tier Texas wrestler, former Mission Pro champion, who also and one of the best female wrestlers out there. I believe she's been on Ring of Honor several times. When you got people like Vert Vixen, who are getting a lot of rotations in our Ring of Honor and AEW. Jasmine Allure, top tier. This is one that needs to get signed, Tony Khan, please. Bring her in. She's another one. You've already brought in Maya World and high end. Top tier Jasmine Allure is it. She's got the it factor. And I think this is an opportunity. I think you need to bring her back. I would love to see her be kind of like what Zelina Vega was to Andrade in NXT and WWE. Have her be Andrade's handler, and be kind of that femme fatale kind of character, because she could be that for Andrade. And I think that would actually be, fantastic. Jasmine Allure is a great in-ring talent. She's a great character. She plays a good villain, like Prince, like spicy princess kind of thing. And I like this pairing. I think that this right here should be a permanent thing. So let's see what happens.
AEW saying Andrade winning the world championship. I did not predict that. To at all ever. But I think Callis family eventually needs to have the world title. Whomever it is, and they need to have it. They're featured so much. Is it going to be Andrade? Is it going to be Fletcher? Is it going to be Okada? Is it going to be Takeshita? Who's it? Whoever it's going to be, I feel like the world title and the Don Callis family is going to be very compelling. A lot of bragging rights and a lot of Yo Soy champion stuff and all that. But
Yo Soy el campeón.
I loved how, as you spoke in the beginning of the show, like, this is a bookend of the title picture. The title picture is front and center, which it has not always been front and center in AEW, but it is and has been ever since it's been in MJF's hands, on his waist, whatever you want to call it. You got the targets going after it. I love that there's so many different elements coming at the world champion, and it's not just one key competitor. It's not just A going after B nonstop. There's so many competitors, from Kenny Omega to, there you go, Andrade to it. And then, of course, they had to throw in Hangman lastly, following him out to his car. Like, I would not, and we didn't sprinkle in Brody King in there as well. So Brody King has got a title shot, a eliminator title shot next week. So as much as I don't necessarily see Brody as the main event world title holder right now. Not to say that he can never be. I'm excited for MJF to get a literal ass whooping from him and to get that cannonball. Like, he's a big boy and he throws some haymakers. So MJF is going to get that literal ass whooping from Brody King, whether it be once or twice on there. So lots of targets on the back of the champ. And I loved how this ended. This is kind of a new way to end the show. And it was really unique way to do it.
It was great. It was like literal cinema. Scorsese. It was a one shot. It was like a steady cam. Started out with MJF and Kenny, and then he followed him to Andrade. They followed him outside. Of course, if we're screaming, then we're thinking Darby's in the driver's seat of the escape car for MJF. That would have been hilarious. But again, Swerve's in my top 3. But I think it's refreshing. I think Andrade in the title picture now is refreshing. I think that's it's adding a newness to this whole thing, and I love it. I hope we get a little bit more of that. And I love that it's like heavy as the crown of the champion, but there's everybody's coming for it. and there's such a good and it's not. There's no clear. Oh, he's going to be the next challenger. You've got Brody King, but you've also got Hanger. You've also got Andrade. You've also got Kenny. You still got Swerve. There's still, and anybody else could pop up. It's 2026 is going to be incredible. I do agree with you that the babyface chase is better than the babyface defense, but we've got a lot of baby faces chasing MJF right now, and MJF's a perfect heel. I think MJF's gonna have the title for a while, but I don't think he's gonna end 2026 with it.
Definitely not ending 2026. I think all in is going to be. I wouldn't mind him holding it till then, but who knows? We saw how short Cowboys' run was. We saw how short Joe's run was. But yeah, it's a fun time to be talking about the world title picture. I think it hasn't been this fun and unpredictable and this exciting in a while. While they're holding the title, the chase for Hangman was like one of the best chases. Both of his chases were so fun to follow, but now to all the enemies and all the targets that MJF has, it's a lot of fun that they're doing it right. They're doing it right. Our top performers of the night, you just said it all about Andrade and Briscoe, man, brought everything he had with a formidable opponent and just killed it last night.
Yeah. And I know I'm biased when I say this. I'm completely honest about it and open. Part of why Andrade shined last night was Swerve, because that's what Swerve does. But
more than part.
Andrade was phenomenal last night.
Yeah.
And for me to choose Andrade as top performer in a match against my man Swerve, that means a lot. That means huge. Andrade looked he's always looked fantastic in the ring. It's it's the other stuff that he was working on polishing, but my dude was phenomenal last night. And of course, the match was fantastic. One of the candidates for match of the year. I loved how Andrade looked last night. I do think I could also think Mark Briscoe definitely deserves your spot, but to me, Andrade was the star last night. And then, of course, including him in that montage of going after MJF's belt, I thought was phenomenal. So I'm totally cool. And yeah, of course, speaking of bias, Cowboy in the chat says Hangman Page should be champ again. Yeah, I think so. Of course, Deb will say Kenny should be champ again. But here we go.
Who might not be champ again is Crayfish after the way things are going in season 8 right now. The defending champ is he's right behind there with 6, but this is a tight race with only 8 members on each one of our teams. As injuries happen, we heard that Joe got injured in a non-contact injury allegedly. My Doyle on my team is out for probably the remainder of season 8, 100%, because that torn bicep. So in 2 short weeks after Grand Slam, we're going to be adding a +2. So a lot of free agents out there. We got the likes of the Rascals.
You might say I'm chomping at the bit to.
Thomas. So we'll see. Bobby and Mindrun are tied at the top for the grade.
You're going down, Bobby. You're going down.
Is nibbling at your toes, but a 4-way tie with all of us having 6s with Cowboy, SPD, Cray, and Court. Court is making a nice push, like we talked about earlier in the chat. That Andrade is a great pick.
Yeah,
no more caboosing.
Wow.
She's leaving the caboose behind and going full throttle. That's for sure.
All right, Bobby and I, we got a collision, man. One of us has got to come out on top here, Bobby. Let's put him up, man. Put him up. Fun. This is fun. I got to say, the draft brings a new wrinkle to this whole thing, and it conflicts me when one of my favorite wrestlers is taking on one of my picks. I want my pick to win, but I also want my favorite wrestler to win. So it's very cool. Very good stuff.
I'm trying to look who has Okada. Ranger Man's got Okada. He just got a match announced as well. So for Collision. But I'm with you, the same boat. It's like, secretly I want my teammate on my team SPD to win, but secretly I don't want them to win because I'd rather have this for storyline purposes. But yeah, I love in the draft. It's always got more skin in the game for it as well. So y'all, thanks for joining us. a little bit of delay. Dynamite download 2:30. Excellent. Collision is back live on Saturday. I know, for those of you, we want to uplift other stuff too. One of my favorite events is a Royal Rumble, and so Royal Rumble is also going to be Saturday afternoon. So we'll see.
Before
as of now,
Collisions, you could have a whole wrestling day if you're going to be
I know.
snowed in. Royal Rumble, then Collision, you're set.
There you go. Got to order some deep dish pizza or something too, and Dippin' Dots while you're at it. Not the Dippin' Dots, but I hopeful that Jericho does, but doesn't make a debut on the Royal Rumble. Man, I miss him. I wish he was still in AEW. I don't know. He's still on the roster page as of now. Cross my fingers, but never say never. Real quick, if you were the booker, if you could trade Jericho for AJ Styles, would you do it?
Yeah.
There you go. It might actually happen.
I mean, AJ Styles, he was part of the Bucks, the whole Bullet Club and everything. And he went that whole thing that went down where he left New Japan and showed up in the Rumble, how he did. I'd love imagine like Kenny or something, and then all of a sudden the lights go out again and you hear like the phenomenal music hit.
Oh,
and
God,
the crowd that debut is going to have to take place in a pay-per-view. I think it's going to have to be up there with the Adam Cole debut, I think. But good stuff.
If we lose Jericho and get AJ Styles, I think that will make everything much better.
And I'm not, again, I am a Jericho fan. I know some people don't like him or whatever.
My top 5, top 10 of all time.
Jericho is what got me watching WWF when he left WCW, when he debuted when he interrupted The Rock with that whole Y2J thing. So, and Jericho lured me into AEW. So, yeah, absolutely. But I think AJ Styles would be phenomenal
no
to
pun
have.
intended.
Yeah. I think there's room for some more talent in AEW and it won't hurt the talent that's already there. I think we're ready for it. So let's see. AJ Styles versus Hangman, AJ Styles versus Will Ospreay.
Ospreay uses the Styles clash, so
Ospreay versus Kenny. Yeah, there's so much out there. I think it'd be phenomenal. So let's
no pun intended.
There it is again. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you on the. Stay warm. Don't get snowed in. Just get yourself dialed in and watch some good wrestling.
Stop.